And welcome back to Veenie Vlog. So today I thought we could do a little video on what to expect when getting an autograph at a convention. So the basic idea that I thought we could cover today is, joining the queue, paying at the desk or handing over a pre-purchased slip, meeting the celebrity, any table selfie opportunities, and your thank you and you're leaving. So the plan is to try and dot in little photographs that we've taken throughout the years whilst we've been there as well, to just try and emphasise it a wee bit more and just show exactly what we're meaning, because sometimes seeing a picture of it can help put the point across a little bit more. So we're going to do that. So basically, we're starting from the beginning. It all depends on the type of guest that you're going to meet. So large guests, like big popular guests, there will be multiple options most likely that you may face when going to get them for an autograph. And I have touched on this on a video about Comic-Con survival tips, or a video about planning your day for a successful convention. So I have touched on this before. So depending on the guest can depend on what sort of queue you may expect to see with them. Or it might just be a generalised queue. So I'm going to discuss big guests. And when I say a big guest, you will know it as a big guest. I'm talking the likes of Jason Momoa, a Benedict Cumberbatch of the world, a Ewan McGregor of the world, most likely Elijah Wood, because he's just been announced for Scotland. He will be a big guest. So big guests, like, I thought I just saw a spider, so my eyes just got, but it's not, it was my curtain. So big guests will have a larger queue, so different organisations or different convention organisers will have different ways that they want to manage their larger queues. So showmasters, if they know they have a big guest, they will run diamond passes. I have found a diamond pass. Showmasters are the ones that kind of use this phrase for shows in the UK that we see, and a diamond pass guarantees you your photo shoot and an autograph from the guest. Now, if you don't have a diamond pass, you are then relying on joining a virtual queue, which I'll talk about in a wee second, but I thought I would show you what a diamond pass tends to look like. So this is normally what you're given if you buy a guest. It's a really big guest and a diamond pass. So this was from London Film and Comic Con. I can't even remember what year it was. 2018? 2017? I can't remember. But you're given a pass and a lanyard, and they will stamp when you've had your photo shoot, and they will stamp when you've had your autograph, and then they'll take a wee stamp when you collect your goodie bag, because they do goodie bags as well for a diamond pass guest. It's from like a poster and something else. So that was what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So if you buy multiple diamond passes, you will have multiple little cards attached to your neck. Now I think I binned all of mine actually. It's naughty. But thankfully Anna likes to keep hold of some things, so this is what a diamond pass looks like. So diamond passes for specific guests. Now this is a showmasters thing. You get priority entry to that guest's autograph queue, and you will be the first to be called for photo shoot queues. So that means you are basically guaranteed to get your autograph from that guest. The next type of autograph thing you have for like a larger guest is then moves down to a virtual queue ticket. So diamond pass is like top tier, and then virtual queue, you want to try and get as low a virtual queue number as possible. Now I have talked about this before in one of the videos. For virtual queue, you're given a little ticket. So you go to the line where the guest is going to be signing, and there will be a crew member standing with a little ticket book, and you grab your ticket, or you ask nicely for your ticket, and they will give you a little ticket, and you have to keep a hold of this ticket. Normally it will have the guest's name on it. This is just from a different show that I didn't bin. I think this was my Bernard Hill little ticket. But you keep a hold of this, because if you lose this throughout the day and you go to try and join your queue, you will be turned away and you'll be given another little virtual queue ticket, which could be number 832 or something like that. So What they tend to run at Showmaster shows, once they've done the Diamond Pass guests, they will put on a little board what they're running. So they'll say Diamond Passes, numbers 1 to 20, then 21 Diamond Pass, 21 to 50 something or whatever. And they run through that until they've covered all the Diamond Passes, and then they'll open it up to VQ, so that's virtual queue, tickets number 1 to 50. And that is when you would go present your little ticket and they would take that ticket from you, so then you would join the queue for the autograph. I hope that makes sense. That is a big guest at Showmasters. Bigger guests at other conventions might run it a little bit differently. Sometimes they won't put anything in place. Monopoly events I've touched on as well. They then run time slots, so they can see that if you have pre-purchased your autograph, you will be sent a time slot or a booking form to select a time slot, and you must go when your time slot what you have booked. So then it keeps it in a nice orderly fashion, and it does work. It does work quite nicely. My preference is virtual queuing. It's just my preference. I just prefer virtual queue, but it does work pretty well. So that is for Monopoly events. So as I said before, Showmasters and Monopoly events are kind of the big players here in the UK. And yeah, it's interesting how they do their different things. If you have a guest though, and they're not what they would class as a bigger guest, you would just have an open queue, like I've said before, and you would just walk up and join the back of the queue, and you would just wait your turn. So there's nothing fancy about it. It's just, oh, there's my guest. I am going to walk in and join the queue. Now, if a guest, as I've said, is a bigger guest, is what the convention organisers would deem, they will let you know if they're going to have a virtual queue in place. They will let you know if it's going to be a Diamond Pass guest, and they will let you know if you're going to need like a little time slot pre-booked before you attend. They're very good at giving this information on their social media pages, and there can sometimes be little notes by little posters and stuff by the guests' actual desks and things like that, and where the queues begin. So it's very handy to keep a wee eye out on social media, and also just keep your eye out when you're at the show. And also the crew members, like, you can ask them that they will help. Like, they're there to help, and they will help you. When you have finally joined the queue, you can wait anywhere between 0 minutes if there is no queue, if there is no one else there, to over an hour plus and beyond. Depends who it is. It really depends who it is. A standard time though, a standard wait time is probably about 10 to 20 minutes, half an hour, which is fine. That's a picture of me waiting in a queue with sore feet, so I've just plopped myself on the floor and I'm waiting for the queue to start moving. I think it was a particularly busy day in London that day. You're waiting in the queue, and as you're slowly ticking forward, one person at a time, and away they go, at the desk by the guest, or sometimes if it's an even busier guest, they will have a handler working with the celebrity at a different desk, or they will be sat beside the guest. So the handler is the person that deals with all the cash, and they're the people that deal with if you have pre-booked an autograph, if the company that you're attending allows it. Some don't. For example, Showmasters, you cannot pre-book autographs, but with Monopoly events, you can. So if you're attending, you go to the handler for the celebrity, and you pay them directly, or you tell them your name and your little ticket, and they will score you off of their sheet because they already have a note of who's prepaid. You do not give your money directly to the guests. They don't deal with that at all. The crew member, they've got a job to do, and to make sure they got little tick sheets and stuff like that, so they can check throughout the day to see how well they're doing or how much money they've taken in, so they can keep account of everything. Said about slightly bigger guests, they can have their crew. They'll have multiple crew members working with them, so they will have possibly a desk a bit further back from where the celebrity actually is and signing. So at that point you would pay and deal with the crew member and get your photos and whatever you want to get signed sorted. At that point they can sometimes also ask you, do they want it personalised, but the guest will tell them beforehand if they're going to do personalisations. Sometimes they don't, and you have to be aware of that. And if they don't, that's okay, fair enough. But that's how it would kind of work. And then, or if it's a guest that's just has the crew member sat right beside them, again, the crew member they're taking your money, the celebrity will probably still be talking to the person that was in front of you. So you're not interacting with the celebrity yet, you are getting your payment and all the necessary things out of the way before you go over to meet them. You don't want to get so excited and so in a flush, and oh my god, it's Robert Carlyle, and you run up, hello, 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 and you get your autograph and sign stuff, and then the crew member goes, oh no, excuse me, you haven't paid. No, you have to come back. Now that's embarrassing. So just make sure you're sorted. So you've now queued for however long a time it might be. You've now dealt with the crew member, the handler that's with the guest, to either pay them or to tell them your name to tick off on the sheet. Now it is time to meet the guest, and this is what you have come for. So it can be lovely. This is a time where you can spend a little bit longer to have a chat, not too long. So, it depends. The guest will very much direct you as to how much they are happy to chat and to how long. Read the room. If you're lingering a bit longer than the guest is maybe comfortable with, the crew member will give you hints to like, thank you for coming today, take your fucking things and leave. You will get sort of subtle hints if you are outstaying your welcome, but the guests are also very good at naturally drawing things to a close as well. So you can maybe say, oh, I loved you in such and such a movie, or you were my reason to get out of bed for a long time to watch whatever, if you were struggling with different things. And I know a lot of films and movies and characters really do inspire people and really help people that are going through difficult times. So it's nice sometimes the guest can get that story and the guest will, well, that's great, thank you so much, it means so much to do that. But it was great meeting you today, like shaking your hand, you take care, you have a good day, bye-bye, I'll see you later. So that is a subtle way of saying, right, you've had your time, get out. But in a nice way. So take the cues, take the subtle cues. So I've actually found some pictures throughout the years. So I found a picture of someone took for me of me speaking to Anthony Head. This would have been London 2014, I think this was. Here's a picture of me speaking to Michael Madsen. This was in London 2014. I'd given him a little man thing. I'd made him a little clay Mr. Blonde back in the days when I was young and innocent and at uni and didn't have a job and had spare time. So I made a little clay man and gave it to Michael Madsen, and his agent sent me this picture of Michael with his little clay man. And when I look at it now, I am like, oh my god, that is so cringy, that is shit. But at the time, I was very proud of my work. I have a picture, here's me speaking to Billy Boyd, and I look like I'm just to Billy Boyd. There's Gavin Mitchell. I actually have a wee picture of Gavin Mitchell. He's signing my picture, and I'm like smiling. And then there's one of Stephen Ogg. Speaking of Stephen Ogg as well, I think I'd given him a box of shortbread because I'd met him in Sweden. So I'd flown over and bought some Scottish shortbread to give to Stephen. So hopefully you can see in some of those pictures of me talking to the guests that their desk is laden with pictures. Like there's a whole bunch of 10x8 photos of different characters they've played, different movies or different scenes from the same movie that they have been in. So you don't normally have to pay any extra for this photo. I have only ever been to one show in my entire time of doing this, and this was in 2014, where they didn't have any photographs on the desk at all where the celeb is signing, or any photos at the previous desk where the call handler is taking your money. Call handler? Crew handler, like the crew is taking your money and sorting that things out. They made you go and queue in a totally separate area of the building to buy a blank photograph of the guest that you were going, or the guests, multiple, you were planning to meet that day. And you had to go queue over there, which took an hour to buy a photograph, to then go and queue to the guest, which took hours because they didn't have any VQ systems or any Diamond Pass systems or anything in place. And I've never seen it happen since. It was an awful system, and I'm very glad I haven't seen it happen since. So here's a wee picture I found as well when we were lucky enough. Jana was crewing for Carl Weathers in Sweden, and I was sat behind the desk, so we were waiting for the guests to arrive as well. Actually, I think Carl was upside. No, Carl had arrived at that point because I can see the other guests were there. And you can see as well on Carl Weathers' desk that he had multiple pictures that you could pick up to get signed by him, and you don't need to pay any extra for this. Now, sometimes guests will actually have other wee oddities on their table. So maybe they've brought in their own novels or poetry books or little pins. I've seen Funko Pops. I've seen little piggy banks and stuff like that, actually. Jim Duggan had planks of 2x4 to get that you could buy at that desk at that time, and then get the guest to sign that. Now, that would cost more money because it's not just a photograph, and that is a proper item or something else. So you would pay for that item, and then you would also pay the additional cost for the autograph on that said item if you wanted to. You can also bring your own thing to get signed, as I've said before. So quite often we will take our own pictures to get signed if we're not sure they will have the image that we're wanting. We've had some different things signed in the past. Robert Englund, we got him to sign the Freddy Krueger glove, so that's downstairs in our dining room. We've got Kane Hodder to sign one of the Jason masks, which is quite cool. Had Sylvester McCoy sign as Radagast the Brown a little Hobbit contract prop thing, which is quite cute. So you can bring some things, different things, within reason. If the guest isn't happy to sign something, they will let you know, so err on the side of caution. Err on the side of caution if you want to get weapons signed. Now, I know sometimes, for example, Christopher Lambert, like, there's lots of stalls that will sell prop swords, but they're like real good swords. Actually, I have what I'm going to show you. I'll back it. For example, there's quite a few sellers that will sell swords, and I have a little replica of Sting, and it's quite weighty. It is. Oh, that was my knuckle. But they do have some weight to them. Some people try to get swords signed. Some organisations allow it, some don't. So I would check before bringing anything like this, because it is a weapon. I don't know, I wouldn't take it. Oh, I really cracked my knuckle there. I wouldn't take it with me. No. But you... Back on track here now. I'm all over the place. So, when you're meeting a guest, don't overdo it. Now, you can quite easily make guests uncomfortable, and you have to respect their wishes, and you have to respect the guest's boundaries. So, unfortunately, when Jana was crewing for Carl Weathers, so Jana was the handler for Carl Weathers, we sat with him the entire weekend and dealt with all the members of the public in Sweden that were coming over. Someone came to Carl with an item to sign, and it was a big item, big painting, and Carl wasn't able to sign it, or he wouldn't sign it, and he was quite rightly so, for different reasons. But the guy wouldn't take no for an answer, and he was begging and pleading, and he was starting to, turn on the tears and say, like you're my favourite person of all time, like you're breaking my heart, and like you're my hero, and like I can't believe you're doing this to me. And it was awful. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice for Carl Weathers at all. It wasn't nice for the crew. It wasn't nice for the other crew members that had to come and escort the guy out of the building. Like, they had to physically remove him. No, don't do that. If you want something specific signed, you have to take the risk that they might not sign it, and there might be different contractual reasons about that. So be graceful and defeat if they say no. They can totally decide what they're comfortable with signing, just as they can decide if they want to personalise items. Now, some guests, I don't know if I've seen this, But some guests might sign, like for example, female guests might sign nudie photographs of themselves because that they've embraced that as part of their persona. But fuck's sake, do not bring a nudie picture to a guest. Do not bring a nudie photograph for a guest to sign. You will get kicked out. You will just just throw in. Oh, sometimes guests can have the option for table selfies. Sometimes they charge, sometimes they don't. If I'm honest, mostly all charge now for a selfie, but back in the day, if you were able to get a table selfie with a guest, you didn't have to pay for it. But I think they then realised, oh, wait a minute, this is a good idea, we can charge for this too. So now there is normally a charge for a selfie. So when you're going to meet the guest, sometimes they have little posters by their desk that will say how much it is for all the different things. So how much it is for an autograph, how much the photo shoots are, how much it is for a selfie at the desk with them. And sometimes we'll do a little combination deal so you can get an autograph and a selfie for a slightly discounted price. So when you're going up to meet the guest, you tell the handler that, oh, I would like to buy an autograph, please, and can I also purchase a selfie? So that means when you go to see the guest, the handler will say, oh, this is such and such, like that, so there's a picture to get signed, and they've paid for a selfie. Happy days. Great. You meet the guest, you get your selfie. So sometimes guests actually just ask you if you want a selfie, like if you've been chatting away with them, and then if I'm honest, we weren't charged for them, but that was years ago. Normally, you now have to ask the guest and pay for it. Again, I was digging through the deep depths archives on my folders on my phone and found some selfies. The evolution of the table selfie, I think I would like to call it. And it's also the evolution of my hair, because I tend to have my hair long, then I'll cut it short to a pixie, then I'll grow it long again and cut it short to a pixie, grow it long again, and now I'm trying to grow my hair out once again, so it is an absolute riot at the moment, but there we are. So I thought, it's also an evolution of my weight gain over the years, so I'm fat, thin, fat. So here we go. So I found a picture. Here is Dave Prowse. He was my very first guest that I met in London in 2013. And I had such lovely, happy pink hair. I would love to have pink hair again, but my current profession, it would be frowned upon and I wouldn't be able to do so, but I love my pink hair. I also have a wee picture. This was at the Glasgow convention. Glasgow Film and Comic Con 2013. Yes, I think it was 2013 it would be. And I got to meet Graham McTavish, Mark Haddo and John Callan. Now, they play the three of the Hobbits, no sorry, they play three dwarves in the Hobbit movies. So Graham McTavish plays Dwalin, Mark Haddo, he plays Dory, and John Callan, he plays Oin. Now, they missed a trick, Showmasters, for this convention. They didn't offer a group shoot with the three Hobbits. So at the end of the day, when it was really quite quiet and winding down, I went up to, I can't remember who it was, I think it was John Callan actually. I went up to him and I just asked nicely, I says, excuse me, would you mind, is it possible if I could have a photograph with all three of you together? Because I'd already paid for photo shoots separately and I'd already seen them earlier on in the day, had my autographs with them, had with paid photo shoots with all three of them, and this was just at the end of the day, we're just winding things down, and they were like, yeah, of course, I'm much obliged. And I think myself and one other fan, Roddy his name was actually, we lingered, we waited till the end and we said, right, we'll go up and we'll ask them if they're okay to do that, and they were obliged, and it was a lovely photo. It's actually one of my favourite photos as well, I love it. And again, I still have my happy hair, so yeah. So here's a picture of the three dwarfs that were in The Hobbit. Anyway, then I met William Kircher. So again, this was the winter London Comic Con in 2013. He was lovely. So over the table, and another over the table picture. Richard Armitage, I think I met in 2014. I actually can't remember. It might have been the start or like January or February 2014. Possibly. Yes. And this was at the book signing. And I had no one to take a picture for me, so I just grabbed my massive camera. It just went for it. So that was me and Richard Armitage. Michael Madsen, 2014. So this is at London Film and Comic Con. He's holding my hand. Yeah. And then I cut my hair off. And so here's Kim Coates in 2016. Now, the interesting thing about this photograph is actually Kim Coates that asked to take this photograph. Kim took this picture on his phone and he posted it onto his Twitter page. So if you have the time or you're like bored of a day, if you scroll back through his photographs to 2016, like the London Film and Comic Con, you can see the picture Kim posted on Twitter of me and him. I made him a little doll. And the nice thing is as well, I have a photo inception. So there's a photograph that Kim took of us, but someone I know, I can't remember who took the photograph, I'm sorry, but someone I know took a photograph of Kim taking a photograph of us and then sent me the photo. So I have like a photoception and it's quite nice. So yeah, I like that. I have a photo of Lance Henriksen. So he was a wee over the table. And I've got Tommy Flanagan as well. This is when we met him in 2017. This is at London Film and Comic Con. I've got a wee one for Robert Patrick in 2019. This was at a Malmo show. Yes, Sci-Fi World in Malmo. Ruggero Deodato, who's now sadly passed on. This was 2019 at London Film and Comic Con. We met Lisa and Louise Burns in 2019, London Film and Comic Con. They are the Shining Twins. I have a Michael Madsen from 2019. This was at a Sci-Fi World show in Stockholm. And Tom Vlasia. Tom in 2022. This was at Liverpool Comic Con Monopoly Events show, actually. So that was the evolution of the selfies. Now, once you've got everything done, once you've met the guests, you've got your autograph, you've taken your selfies if you have asked for a selfie or purchased your selfies, remember to pick up all your belongings, all your autographs and things, thank the guest and move on. And that is basically how you do an autograph at a convention. So I hope that was helpful. Nice little trip down memory lane for me, actually, looking through all the things that we've done and seen. It's quite nice to look back and you remember and you enjoy and you have, it's good. Yeah, it's quite pleasant. So I enjoyed making that video, actually. But hopefully it was helpful and I'll hopefully see you all again soon. Okay, bye.